Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Digital Nomad World Weekly Lecture. I'm Becca, and I'll be your host today, and I will be speaking with Christine, who is the founder of a remote media and production company in the gaming world. So hello, Christine, and welcome.
Hello.
So firstly, I just want to get you to tell us a little bit about yourself. Can you tell us where you are now and where you're from?
I'm from Germany. I was born in Hamburg, but I grew up in a tiny little village with 600 people. And currently I'm in Thailand, in Koh Samui.
Nice. So how did you end up there?
Well, I really like Thailand. This is my 4th time here. And I've just been like, over the whole COVID period, I've just been like dying to get back here. Because I love the food, I love the people, I love the weather, and like it's just beautiful. And good internet and co-working spaces, and so it's just a really good place to be when you're especially building a business. But now that I built mine, it's still a good place to be. So I love it here.
Yeah, that's cool. So I'm going to start by, so I normally ask everyone a little bit about what they do for work. So can you give us a little bit of an introduction to what you do for work in the industry that you work in?
Yeah. So it's quite funny. I had basically, I'm quite fortunate. So I ended up being able to combine my main hobby with my actual profession, with a lot of experience in a specific industry, and then start my own business around that. It's like everything was just meant to be and just came together in the right way. So basically my profession is audio-visual media producer. So I learned that in Germany. It was a 3-year education, and that is my profession. So it means basically nowadays you could just say content creator, right? And I unsuccessfully tried to start a business at the age of 22 in Germany. And that failed, and then I left Germany and I found poker and the card game, and I saw that there's this whole big industry behind it, and I did have a little bit of marketing experience, so I was lucky to get a role in poker and marketing and innovation. And I was in total, I worked 11 years for the world's biggest poker company, and obviously built a wealth of knowledge and a massive network in the industry. And it all ended up like me saying after a couple of years, guys, I really want to work more remotely. They weren't willing to give me that. So then I had to leave, started my own business. So now I'm, you could say, content creator and also consultant for poker related companies or people.
So I guess when you started, you were able to travel with work due to the industry, right?
Yeah, it was quite cool because the company had a lot of live poker events in Europe. So I usually made it my goal to either work at those events or play at those events. So all my holidays were always at these poker events. So I always like Monte Carlo and Berlin and Prague and even Las Vegas and so on. So it was awesome, like being able to travel sort of with work or directly with work. And then later, when I did more innovation stuff, I was running innovation workshops in all our different office locations. So also I was constantly working in the different offices, and I just loved it so much. And I said to my manager, I said, I want more of that. Can you offer me more remote work? And then he said, we can't do that.
And then that's when you decided to set up your own business.
Yeah, so it was all like it's a bit. I guess some people that are watching this probably as a advice that I could give is reading the 4-Hour Work Week from Tim Ferriss. That was the one that opened my eyes a little bit, where he said, why don't you just ask your manager to work one day remotely from home and just make it the best work of the whole week, so that he knows that it's good. So it's something that I had already implemented. So they already let me work from home on Friday. So that was awesome. So I already had that. But then in the end, it was something that I said, okay, I worked so long in the company now that I could do a sabbatical. So I did the sabbatical but in order to earn a little bit of money while I was doing that, because it was an unpaid sabbatical, I made the deal that I can still work part-time while traveling. And that was my first introduction into try, while I was on the road, to try and work and make some money while doing that. And when I came back, it was really weird because my job wasn't there anymore. So they made me redundant. So the whole thing just ended up just perfectly somehow.
So when you took the sabbatical, did you decide to kind of do freelance work, or is that when you decided to set up your business? I guess, what was your kind of approach? Because I think a lot of people that want to maybe get into remote work or become a digital nomad might find it a bit difficult to kind of know where to start, of like letting go of their previous job or how to transition that. I guess, what did you find was like the best thing that worked for you?
Yeah, so I would definitely, this notion of just trying to get one day that you can work from home and just make it your most productive day. And then if you are so productive and your manager sees that, maybe he will allow you to do it for 2 days a week, or maybe, now through COVID, I think people are way more perceptive to this kind of work, as long as you prove that you do good work, right? And if you do good work, then maybe you have a little extra time to start building your own little thing, so while you're at home anyway, and you're so mega productive that your manager loves you, just take a couple of hours and work on your own project. And for me, it was, I was basically, I was traveling. It was hard because like the first 2 weeks were Lord of the Rings tour in New Zealand. So every day was just like sightseeing and travel. And then when you were in your room, you just want to sleep. So I noticed this doesn't really work. So I can't really have a full program like this and then also work. So that was important to learn. But once I had a bit more time, then I was like, okay, so I'm having part-time this job for my actual employer. And then I started like writing some articles for a new client that I had somewhere. You know them, by the way.
Yeah.
And then I had like other little jobs where I just did some user testing, where you just get $10 for a test or something like that, just to see, okay, all of a sudden I had like $100, $200 a week that just came in. And I was like, okay, so if I do more of this might just work, but it's just like these tiny steps. And I guess this is like as everything, you just have to start and just see what's out there, what's the stuff that you can do, what do you like to do, do you like to write, do you like to edit photos, do you like social media management, and just offer your services and just see what happens. And then just slowly but surely, even if you just have like $10, $20 a week to start with, but it's just something to get your feet wet and then show your work, and then you get more work, and then you can maybe even have people to help you out with stuff, and then the whole thing grows. And that's how in the end I managed to get this off the ground.
Do you think if after your sabbatical, if your job was still there, do you think you would have still pursued kind of creating your own business? Or I guess, what were you feeling at that point?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not sure, because I was so long in the company for 11 years, right? That I was so comfortable, So I'm not actually sure. I might have just if I'd come back and it would have been the same job with the same, because it was a well-paid job, right? I might have just gone, let's just do it another year and try to save some money before I actually make this thing, So I think it was a blessing in disguise then in the end, that it just ended up being exactly what I needed. Like basically being kicked out the door was just exactly what I needed to just do it. And I did get what's it called, like I did get a little bit of money from the company after they made me redundant, and I basically blew through that in the next half year, trying to do my thing. But I have to admit, I wasn't living cheaply. I was doing I was in Vegas, and I was just like basically just trying to make it work somehow, but I wasn't my mind wasn't fully set on it yet. So that only happened after that in October 2019, when I was in Thailand then. And I was actually 1 month in a co-working space with a friend, saying, okay, this month is here for me to really put my head down and figure out how I can turn this into a business and make money. And she was there with me, helping me out with stuff, because I have this massive network. So I got jobs in, which is great. And then she helped me with editing some videos and podcasts and so on. And I could for some stuff I could pay her, for others I couldn't. But that way I learned, okay, I have to get the jobs. I have to either do the work myself or have to have somebody who helps me. Then I have less money because I have to pay the person. So that month was in the end where I figured out how this will really work. And yeah, and then from there I just started building.
So when you, I guess, like going back to earlier when you were mentioning about building up kind of clients and bits of work, did you find that you had to take work that wasn't necessarily within the gaming industry, or like how did you kind of get started? Did you just kind of take anything to kind of build a portfolio or experience, or were you very like set on specific industry?
No, I was really, as I said, excuse me, I was doing the like user testing and whatever as well, just to get money from as many sources as possible, just to figure out how this could work. And the funny thing is, my actual first client, and that name might be familiar to some of the people watching, is Christin Wilson. And she created the podcast Badass Digital Nomads. And I produced that for a long time. So it was a not as well paid job because it was my first, and then we were very honest there. I said, okay, listen, you don't have anything yet. I said, no, I know, let's just get this off the ground. So I started producing the podcast for her. And while I was doing that, obviously heard her interviews with amazing other digital nomads. So I learned a lot while I was doing that. And I started creating content for social media and so on. So if you find the podcast, like the main image, like I designed that and so on. So that was actually my first client, was actually not poker, although I know Christin actually from the poker world. And it was quite funny because there was like two Christins in the poker world and we all both ended up being digital nomads. But then it just, as it happened, it was just simply that I used my personal network to get jobs. So I never had to, again, I was quite lucky that I never had to advertise for my services or run ads on Facebook or something like that. I just literally called up anybody I knew in the poker world or wrote them on Facebook and said, hey, I'm doing this now. If you ever happen to need podcast editing or social media management or something, I'm offering this service now. And in one case, it took a whole year, that somebody then said, hey, are you still doing this? I need somebody now, so it was so good to just simply write everybody and just say, hey, this is what I'm doing. And so people will remember, like once they need exactly this, what you're offering, they will remember and they get in touch. So it's pretty cool.
So what would you say, I guess this is a bit more of a question focusing on the actual idea of remote work and being a digital nomad. What have been your biggest challenges with being a digital nomad or with remote work?
With the remote work, I definitely have to say it's like the health and fitness stuff, because I am right now in a fitness or weight loss retreat in Thailand, because I did gain a lot of weight, and I have a fitness background, so I'm quite sad about that I couldn't manage to add this to my daily routine, because especially while I was building, the thought is always, if I have X hours a day available, should I really spend them on this while I have to really start building my business properly, So like I just put everything to the side while I was building. And that was definitely difficult to find the right balance there with like staying healthy and fit and just eating right and doing your yoga and meditation and still, rocking the business side of things. That was definitely difficult. And that has a lot to do with being remote and not having everything you need always around you. And you have to, like, every time you are in a different place, figure out again, where's a good healthy restaurant, or where's the next gym. If you haven't figured out yet how to properly work out in your freaking hotel room, which obviously I'm hoping to be able to do after this, but that was definitely the biggest challenge. And also, of course, I think I did quite well in finding like a lot of different income streams, but I had a couple of moments, especially when COVID started, that all of a sudden 2 of my clients just like disappeared. And I was quite lucky because my industry is online poker, and during COVID, online poker boomed, if that hadn't been the case, I think I would have just failed with the whole thing like right away. But yeah, so that was definitely scary, like suddenly losing 2 clients. But then again, now I'm at the point where I'm like, because now I have 1 main client to work full time for, and then I have a couple of smaller ones. Even if the big client now would break off, now I gained so much confidence in knowing that I could always find something again, which is amazing, but it took a while to get there, of course.
Yeah, I think it's it can be quite difficult to kind of manage if you've got lots of little bits going on, and kind of once you've built a portfolio, I think it definitely gives you a bit more confidence that if you do lose a client, that you have the kind of skills and the knowledge to approach new ones.
And it helps as well, because the negotiation I had with my client right now is really because they wanted me to actually be an employee in Malta. And I was a bit like, I don't want to live in Malta. So I don't want to do that. I want to keep traveling. And I had to have a very long discussion and negotiation. And the guy basically still doesn't trust it 100% that I'm doing this. So I have to, what I mentioned earlier, because it's only the third month now that I'm in this setup. So I do have to really prove that this is working, that I'm getting the work done, that I'm available, that people can reach out to me when they need to, and so on. So it took quite a bit of not arguing, but negotiation. And yeah, so but that again, like once you know your worth and your value, you can have these kind of discussions. It's quite good.
Yeah, for sure. We started getting in some questions from the audience. So the first one is, now that you have your own company, what would an employee have to do for you to let them work remotely?
Oh, okay. So first of all, it's not like I'm not actually having a company, so I'm not having employees as such. I'm still freelancing, or I'm a contractor basically. But I have people working for me, and to be honest, like I don't care where they are. It's the same kind of thing that I was saying to my manager now. Basically, like as long as they're available when I need them to be, if I know exactly what hours they can't be available because it's night or something. If this is communicated well, then I really don't mind. I have, for example, I did the thing with my manager now. In my Google Calendar, I just blocked night times. So he sees whenever he wants to schedule a call with me, okay, she's sleeping here, or I have other things going on, or this is when I'm traveling. So he always sees exactly when I'm available, so there's no confusion, no discussion. Why can't I get hold of you? And I would have exactly the same kind of, even if maybe someday I have a proper company, that would be still the same thing. I would not mind somebody being anywhere in the world as long as I could get hold of them and they get the work done.
Yeah, I think it's an important thing, is kind of setting those boundaries and also kind of like rules that you can talk to me between these hours, or I will be available on these days, to kind of really make
communication.
It work. Yeah,
exactly. It's just really communicate. This is my life. This is what it looks like. If you have a problem with it, please let me know. Then we can maybe shuffle a few things around. Like I'm never off. Like that's another thing. Maybe that's a bit like I'm working full time, but I'm not working 8-hour days. So I'm basically working 5 to 6 hours every day, also Saturday and Sunday, right? But then next week is my birthday, and so I said, like on Wednesday, I said I'm off, and I didn't even ask. I'm just like, Wednesday, I'm off. So I block the whole day. It's like I'm having all the cocktails here in Thailand, I'm off. So, and then if they have a massive problem with it, we have to talk about it. But, like if you work hard enough and well enough, they will just allow you to, take that time off.
Yeah. We have another question. For someone starting their own business in the hopes of being a digital nomad, what tips could you give?
Oh, can you repeat that? Sorry.
So if someone wants to start their own business with the hope of being a remote worker, like being a digital nomad, what tips would you give them to someone looking, I guess, to start their own remote business?
Right. Yeah. So I would definitely start with not having anybody helping you out who's your neighbor or who you want to have sitting right next to you, but really start from the beginning to work with people that are, also remote. So then you're not bound to a place. Um, it's something, obviously I'm also a minimalist, so I only have 3 bags of things, so I'm very easily mobile. But if you do have a house, if you do have all the dependencies that come with that, you obviously have to make some other decisions, like can you rent it out, can you turn it into an Airbnb while you're away or something like that. That obviously helps as well. So the less you have to tie you down to one place, the more you're able to travel. And the working part is just, that's secondary there. It's like the main things that you actually are able to move around and travel. Also figure out taxes in the country that you live in, all the little rules that come with that. And maybe you can just be, so that's how I'm doing it. I'm just subletting an apartment at my brother's place. So I'm paying him a little bit of rent every month, but I'm almost never there. And so he picks up my mail and sends me pictures of the mail and so on. So you have to set up in a way that you're actually being able to be mobile. And then the work part is almost like irrelevant, because if you're sitting at home with your laptop, or if you're sitting in Thailand with your laptop, that in the end then doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of important knowing that you have all those kind of admin things taken care of, because obviously if you're going to set up a business as well, the business will need to be registered somewhere, and you need to have, you've been paying tax somewhere, so exactly, you may need someone on the ground. So is your company registered in Germany back home?
Yeah, so it's not registered. It's so weird because I don't know the term. So I have a business registered, but not like a company, like in Germany. So it's something I started because I knew in the beginning I'm not going to earn a lot of money, because like as soon as I earn over a certain threshold, it will be very expensive to pay taxes in Germany. And I'm slowly getting there. So I do have to reconsider where I will have my base. I was looking at Bulgaria, but I am more looking at the Isle of Man, because I've lived there before, and I'm hoping that they let me back into the country. But that's definitely something, you have to think about these things. Where's the best place? Because generally, if I was living in Germany, I wouldn't have a problem paying high taxes. But if I'm not even there in the country paying that high taxes, then it doesn't make sense. So that's just my thinking. That it's not like I want to get around taxes. It's not even the problem. Just that if I want to be in the country, to actually say, oh, this is what I'm paying all these taxes for. But yeah, if I'm never there, whatever. So yeah, so a lot of thinking goes into all these details, definitely.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, and it varies depending on where you are as well. What have been your biggest rewards with having a remote work lifestyle?
It's just plugging, basically the plug and play, putting your life into a different setting. Like I had a bit of almost an argument with another digital nomad like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, because he was like, you're in Thailand, you have to do stuff and drive around and do sightseeing every day. And it's like, no, I'm just having my life. I'm working, I'm watching a bit of Netflix in the evening, I'm going out to have some food, but then I go out and have food, and it's not a German bakery, but it's a Thai restaurant by the beach, and I can have like a green curry. So it's like just having the life that you like and set up for yourself, but in different places. And it's like when I was in Mexico last year, and it was the same thing. I was working in my hotel room, and there was honestly a mariachi band walking outside the window. And it's like, this is what it is about. I do the same thing. I do my work. I go out for a beer, and then I have some fresh made guacamole in the restaurant next door. I love food. That's one of the big things. And then obviously now it depends on the time zone. So now it's like my main client works European hours, so I have the mornings to do something. So in the mornings right now, because I'm in this fitness camp, I'm just going crazy in the gym. But then as soon as that's done, I can do sightseeing in the morning or whatever. And then I come back, take a nap, and then start my work day. And it's just simply taking the life as you build it for yourself, that's perfect for you, and then have it in different places in the world and see different cultures. And so that's really the main thing. I learn something new every day. It's amazing.
Yeah. Would you say it took you a while to build that routine, or did you find it quite easy to kind of take your lifestyle and routine you had before and kind of adapt that to like and keep that going where you were? Did you find it took a while to kind of
it's still not done? That's why, yeah, that's why I'm doing this fitness thing now, hoping that my body will remember how it feels like to just get a workout in, you know, and because I am quite good in every day I'm doing a little yoga routine and a little meditation routine. So that's every morning. It doesn't matter where I'm in the world. That's just like something that's set now. So that's great. But now I want to add like 45 to 60-minute exercise after that. So that's my goal. And I think once that is done, then I will feel like, okay, I think I got the routine sort of done for how I want to my life to look like. But every time I change a time zone, this whole thing gets thrown around again, right? So now, again, before it wasn't a big problem because I could just do my own time. But now that I have a client who has working hours that I have to be available in, now I know I'm working in the afternoon, but once I'm in Vegas, the whole thing just shifts completely the other way around. And then my whole routine is in danger again. So yes, I obviously, I'm almost there. It's like almost 3 years now that I'm trying to build this. I'm almost there to having a good routine, but it's always in danger to be like disrupted again.
Yeah, I think I often struggle sometimes if I'm somewhere new because I want to go out and explore all the new things, and it can be a little bit distracting.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess that's also why people choose to work remotely, is to have the new environment and new things around.
That's it. And it comes down to planning then as well, right? So if you, again, like if I know now I have the mornings, then I try to do all the sightseeing and stuff in the mornings. But it also means I can't go out for cocktails in the evenings with people, because that won't work right now. But then when I'm in Vegas again, that will work. So yeah, it totally depends.
Yeah, I guess you just adapt to each place that you go to and kind of start building a routine again. What would you say is an ideal amount of time to spend in a country or a time zone, or for you, what has worked really well?
Yeah, I just wanted to actually get to that as well, because that's the thing. If you give it enough time and a place, then you don't have this feeling of, oh, I do have to now get out and just see stuff and do stuff all the time, because you can just really take it slow. You know, I've been now here 3.5 weeks almost in Koh Samui. I haven't seen anything because I'm just like doing the fitness thing, and but I've learned to ride a scooter now, you know, so I've done something that's new and fresh, and I speak to people every day that have exciting backgrounds and things like that. So it depends on everybody in what kind of speed they want to travel. I mean, there's all this discussion about slow travel and so on. And I think I start preferring being in the country at least for a month before moving on. And then depends on inside the country how much I want to do. So now in Thailand, I'm quite lucky because they still do the COVID extension if everything goes right. So I can actually be in Thailand for almost 3 months. And that just gives me so much time to just go to the places like this now, spending like a month in a fitness thing. Why not? You know, but then I still will have some time to see some other places that I haven't visited in the past in Thailand. And yeah, so if I would go, like, for example, if Thailand wouldn't give me the COVID extension, now I would go over to Cambodia, because they are open right now, and I've never seen Angkor Wat. So then I was thinking then maybe I'd just go over for 2 weeks, because if I'm only going to see Angkor Wat, I don't need longer than 2 weeks really. But then 1 week would feel a bit rushed. So I think like for me, it's like let's say 2 to 6 weeks in a country. But like if I go to Korea now as well, if I'm lucky, it should be at least 2 weeks that I'm spending there, but that's already quite rushed, I think.
And I guess, how do you choose where your next destination is going to be? Like, obviously working in poker, do you try and follow the kind of the tournaments and events happening within that? Yeah, I guess, how do you decide where is next?
Yeah, I basically have like two main pins. If you want to like see like two global pins. One is always in summer. I'm in Las Vegas for the World Series of Poker, which is basically the World Championships of Poker. And at the same time, it's like the biggest convention for poker because everybody in the industry is there. You can make connections, you can meet people, you can create content from there. So it's just an absolute must, like for me to be in Vegas in summer. For me. And then usually I would say in winter, I try and be in Germany for Christmas, just for family stuff. And so I have like these two pins. And then again, like this was the dream, I wanted to build it, but then COVID just made everything difficult. But now I'm in this first loop. So the idea is then to always have this loop around the world every year. Mm-hmm. And all these times in between, I will then build however it fits. So now I knew I just wanted to be in Thailand again. That was like the main thing. And I knew if Korea opens up for tourism again, I will want to go there. And they luckily open up next week. 1st of April they open up. So it fits exactly into my plans. Then I go back to Europe, and then I'll see exactly that, because now that the poker events are starting again, there might be one in Barcelona. So then I go to Barcelona a bit, spend some time in Spain. And now I met a lot of interesting people here in this fitness camp. That one was from Dubai, one was from Morocco, one was from Kenya. So they all said, you have to visit our country. So now I'm actually starting to build like a little plan, trying to do that. And I also have a friend in South Africa who keeps inviting me. So now I'm trying to do like an Africa plan. I just have to figure out when I can fit that into one of these in between pins timeframes. But the poker thing will be more relevant now that the tournaments are coming back, because either I have work there, or I want to play, or I just want to hang out somewhere where a lot of people hang out that I know.
Yeah, that's really cool. So we're coming towards the end of the session. So I just have one last question to ask you that I ask everyone. What is one piece of advice you'd give to other digital nomads or those looking to become digital nomads?
I would say I have two. One is like just get started, just do something, either find some interesting job that you could do next to your regular job, that you could just try and figure out how to make a little bit of money on the side, try and figure out how to get this one day that you can work remotely. Just start. It's like you won't be a full-blown digital nomad after a week. That would be very weird if that actually works out. And now I forgot the other. The other advice is just simply be around people that do it, or like listen to podcasts, or be like in a community like Digital Nomad World or something like that, where you really just talk to other people and hear from people that are already doing it, because that will just, again, it will just open the doors in your head that it is possible, and it's possible for anybody.
Yeah, I think it's important to ask questions.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Thanks for joining me today, and thank you for speaking. If anyone wants to find out more about your work or get in contact just to have a chat with you about what you do, where is best for them to get in contact?
Yeah, I'm totally open if people want to ask questions, and especially I'm trying to build a bit of a thing in Germany as well, where I want to speak more in German as well about the topic of digital nomadism and minimalism. So feel free to contact me. It's my brand name is Nice and Sunny. That's everywhere on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And on YouTube as well. I have a YouTube channel that has been quite dormant. Again, while I was building my business, now that I'm a bit more stable, I will start creating way more content on those channels. Again, I have a podcast as well called Nice and Sunny. And there will be way more stuff happening again. And I will do content from my travels from anywhere. So feel free to follow me, it would be cool.
Cool, thank you. Thank you again for joining us. For those of you who want to join next week, I will be speaking with Laurel Robbins, who is the founder of Monkey and Mountains. and she's going to tell us all about her hiking business. So yeah, thank you once again, Christine, and take care.
Thank you. Bye.